Hey everybody, welcome to the 21st episode thoughts of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. Yes, this is the 21st episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC. So once again, I'm going to give you my reaction thoughts to this most recent episode, and this is also the last episode that's shown before the season finale, which is next week of the season 1 for the show. I'm not sure if Marvel plans on doing a season 2 for the show or not. But for now, let's talk about the episode 21, or the 21st episode of the show. In this episode, you guys, and if you didn't see what was the description down below, um, there is going to be some minor spoilers from some previous episodes. So if you're not caught up with the show yet, I would definitely recommend, making sure you're caught up. I know ABC.com offers basically some of the more recent episodes to watch for free on their website. If you have Charter on Demand, I believe the primetime free option lets you watch some of the more recent episodes as well. So definitely get caught up. So that, like I said, so you have been warned. There is some minor spoilers from earlier episodes, but not from this current episode. So don't worry about spoiling anything from tonight's episode on this video, but more so just some stuff that happened in some previous episodes. And for those who've seen those episodes, you'll know what I'm talking about tonight. And for those who haven't seen those episodes, be forewarned, there is a few little minor spoilers from some of those previous episodes in order for tonight's episode synopsis to make sense in a way. Um, so at this point, if you did not know, Agent Ward basically is a Hydra agent. Like I said, this synopsis I had to talk about this simply because it happened in previous episodes. It's gone on for a few episodes now, and it's now the time for me to bring up the fact that Agent Ward basically is a Hydra agent. He has turned on Shield. He has been a Hydra agent the whole time, and throughout this episode, we get to see flashback scenes of Bill Paxton's character from these several past episodes, kind of how he recruited him, how he did have this dark past that he told Sky about in previous episodes. And, we basically see all through all these flashbacks, kind of how hard it was, how drastic it was, and just kind of how awful it was for him to actually get into Hydra, and how it ultimately, he had to kind of create himself a new person again. He had to become a new person again in a way to become a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, so that way, they wouldn't get suspicious of him. And it wasn't until Hydra really started to get notice in the public eye that, is when basically all this Hydra revealing went on, and kind of how they were, striking back against S.H.I.E.L.D. And so throughout this episode, we get to see that a lot. We also get to see, Coulson and Agent May work their way into Cybertek, which kind of has connections to Hydra and connections to the darker parts of Shield. So they get in there, and they're looking for files and things like that. And also, we get to see more of the future of Deathlok, kind of how what's going to happen to Deathlok once the show is done. Obviously, one would think there's probably going to explore Deathlok even further in the season finale. I would assume so, since they kind of set up for that in this episode. And the future of Cybertek. Cybertek was, I think, loosely mentioned in Iron Man 3, and it's brought up here again, and it's a much heavier topic brought up. A company that's been brought up more so in this episode tonight, more so than any of the Marvel films that I can think of, really. So I'm assuming the season finale is probably going to play off that more, kind of how Cybertek's going to impact the Marvel universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and if there's a Peggy Carter show like they've been talking about, if that can affect it in some way. If there's a season 2 for the show, how's that going to affect that? So I'm sure Cybertek's going to be much more explored in the season finale, but it was explored tonight. So that's kind of what happened. A lot of things happened, as you can see here. They're trying to wrap up everything, and basically keep just enough for the season finale to wrap things up for good. So for what I liked and didn't like about tonight's episode, I really liked how, for the positives, everything coming together for the show. I really like how the woman with the flower dress, HYDRA, the Bill Paxton character. Sky's dark past, why Sky joined S.H.I.E.L.D. to begin with. They explore more about, Sky's past a little bit more in this. And I'm hoping in the season finale episode they'll completely explain, this mystery that Sky's been trying to figure out, because they definitely explained a lot tonight, and I really hope that in the season finale they definitely wrap it up for good. So they have a lot to do in the season finale, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. So um, some small Captain America 2 references still, so they're keeping that HYDRA references still, and some the Captain America 2 stuff, and so a lot of small references from that movie still. So pretty cool to see all that. I like how this episode foreshadows some things to come, and potentially what's to come of the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Is Cybertek going to be big? Is Deathlok going to show up at some point in a movie or in another TV show? What's the future of Deathlok? Um, I also like how they showed Agent Ward's vulnerable side. Kind of how if somebody's close to him, or he basically has a hard time letting go of those personal life things that happens with some of these people. So even though he is a Hydra agent, there is kind of has that hesitant side of him that might bite him in the butt in the season finale more than likely. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the final episode. For negatives of this episode, I do think this episode needed more action scenes. It really felt absent of action in this episode. Really didn't feel like there was a lot of action in this episode. I mean, it just a lot of talking, a lot of negotiations, a lot of interrogations and things like that. But really, not a lot of action scenes. It kind of maybe a few little sparkles of it every once in a while, but really not a very action heavy episode. So I would have liked to see more of that. Um, it just didn't feel as tense or as gripping as some of these previous episodes we had. With the whole thing with Agent Ward and Agent Sky. Once again, you've been warned. There's some minor spoilers from previous episodes in this reaction video. The thing with Ward and Sky that went down. With Ward, moving in on Sky, pretending that he wanted to be the boyfriend and things like that. Those episodes were very, very tense and gripping, and for some odd reason, this episode kind of lost that tension and it lost that gripping factor. So I don't know what went on. Maybe they just kind of ran out of ideas, and so they were working with what they had. But this episode tonight just didn't feel as intense or as gripping as I wanted it to be. I also felt that this episode could have set up even more so for the season finale episode. There's still some things in my mind like okay, how are they going to wrap that up? How are they going to wrap that up? How are they going to wrap that up? They have an hour of time and they got a lot of things to wrap up in the season finale. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, how they wrap everything up. Is it going to be a satisfying season finale? So they have a lot to do and they only have an hour to do it. I'm praying that it is a 2-hour season finale event. But what I got out of the preview clip from the end of tonight's episode is it sounds like it's just another episode, so it'll probably just be an hour long, which is kind of too bad because I think with the stuff that they have left, I think a 2-hour season finale would have been more fitting. That's just my opinion. Um, but I really think that they both could have set up more in this episode, and they got a lot to do in this next episode. So I really hope that whatever time they use for this next episode, they wrap up everything really well. So they got a lot to do. So I like tonight's episode. It was definitely far from the best. This was definitely not the better episodes we've gotten in a while. Um, I liked it. I did not hate tonight's episode. It just didn't feel as intense or as gripping as I wanted it to be. More action scenes could have happened, and I would have preferred an episode that definitely would have set up more so for that season 1 finale. So, just my thoughts. Let me know down below if you guys have any further thoughts on this episode, and I will see you here for the season finale thoughts video. And I'm also going to do a season 1 thoughts video pretty soon when the season finale happens, talking about the whole show. It'll be spoiler filled, just to warn you when that video comes up. And I'm going to give you my overall thoughts of the overall season 1. If they do a season 2, what would I like them to do with it? How did the overall show do? Did it congeal really well? So all that will be discussed in that episode, in that video. So be on the look for that when the show is over with. So I'll see you guys here for future videos.